members, welcome back for another episode of GAWDA TV. Summer's in full swing here at GAWDA. Registration for this year's annual convention in Maui is open now. If you haven't registered yet, do so now as numbers are already piling up. Take all the best parts of any GAWDA national meeting and combine them with an island paradise and you have the 2023 annual convention, which takes place from October 1st to the 4th. Today's annual convention update is brought to you by Lindy. Lindy is proud to have its CEO, Sanjeev Lamba, as the industry keynote speaker at this year's annual convention in Hawaii. The industry keynote will take place on Wednesday, October 4th. For more information about this year's annual convention, including information about the Contact Booth program, the return of the Networking 360 event, and everything else convention related, click the link in the description below. One of the best parts of the annual convention is the annual GAWDA Gives Back program. This year, Robert Anders and his wife Missy have chosen the Malama Family Recovery Center as the recipient of the GAWDA Gives Back Award. The Malama Family Recovery Center provides caring, holistic substance use disorder treatment to women and children so that families can live safe, independent, and healthy lives. This is a cause that's near and dear to Robert and Missy's heart as they've seen the impact of substance abuse in their own lives. The Malama Family Recovery Center strives to provide a continuum of care with therapeutic and sober living programs and intensive outpatient and aftercare services. They're also the only place on Maui where young children and infants can live with their mothers while they get the help that they need.
I remember the first time I used it was kind of like I felt relief. Felt like it took me away from everything.
There's just such a huge stigma against people who are using substances, alcohol, methamphetamine, opiates, whatever it is. You know, why can't you stop?
I think there was a lot of trauma, and I think there was a lot of emotional, physical, and sexual abuse that went on that I blocked out. So I think it just numbed all of that and made me forget.
The women that are the chronic relapsers, or the ones that we see over and over again, are the ones that were so traumatized and so hurt. Is so important to remember is that it's a chronic relapsing brain disease, and this is the definition of addiction.
My journey with the women was all about self-identity and finding self, because in addiction, they lose themselves.
I thought to myself, my kid's mother is a meth addict, and it just, for some reason, something came over me of how my daughters must feel to have a mom that was a meth addict.
The women that have lost their children to child welfare services, that oftentimes is a moment of truth. That's a very traumatic moment.
Sometimes I think being honest is like one of the hardest things to do, you know, because you're scared of the reaction. You're fearful of people getting mad at you or not accepting. We
provide a safe, nurturing place for the women, and we do things to help them look at that part of themselves and to heal that part. Because if you can't heal that part, that broken little girl, you're not going to want to stop using because the pain is too great.
A lot of times I start my classes with, I'm not going to tell you anything you don't know, but I'm going to stir up what you already have.
At Malama, we do very individualized treatment.
Our Hawaiianness really comes with our intense connection with Keakua and the land and other people. And so it's an intense mindfulness, awareness of moment-by-moment awareness of sense of place, sense of people, and sense of purpose.
Therapy is huge. We have neurofeedback. That's a new thing that we're doing. We're looking at neuronutrition. And we have our Baby Safe program, which is a program that goes out into the community to help find pregnant women or women with young children and help gently bring them in because they're scared. We're really trying to break outside the box because we want to look at the whole person, the whole woman, and help her.
To contribute to this year's incredible GAWDA Gives Back cause, click the link in the description below. We thank all of those members who have contributed to GAWDA Gives Back for the real, tangible impact that you're making on the lives of these families. We can't wait to see everyone together again in Hawaii in October. We've got a great show lined up for you today, so stick around right after a word from today's presenting sponsor, Cavagna North America.
Being active for more than 70 years, always following the original mission. Wherever gas is the integral part and provides energy for everyday life, there will be the technological and productive commitment from Cavagna Group.
Joining us first today is Dustin Craig. Dustin is the facilities manager for CK Supply and recently went through the 10-week GAWDA Masters Business Academy program. Dustin, thank you for being with us today. Can you give us an overview of the MBA program and what it was like?
That was a 10-week program that covered pretty much everything managerial. Every 2 weeks, we would have a live in-person meeting with the facilitator, and we would discuss the topics that were there for our learning in the previous 2 weeks. These sections included setting goals for myself and our teams, making sure that we were focusing on serving the right customers, and even all the way down as far as how to read P&Ls and financials of how our businesses work.
What were you looking to get out of this program?
For me, it was more of the financial side of it. I've always been an operations person, so I don't see a whole lot of the accounting and financial side of things. So to be able to sit down with a business model that they had and dissect it and know that, hey, you're net 30, net 60, how important the cash flows and net incomes and those things are, was very beneficial for me.
So now that you've gone through the full 10 weeks, what was the biggest takeaway that you walked out with?
Two sections that stood out to me most was one of the things we worked on was called wide boulevards and high curbs in the financial section. The wide boulevards and high curbs was, the executive managers letting the mid managers and departmental managers setting a goal for them, but letting them have a wide roadway to get to accomplishing that goal. And it was nice to hear how different companies let managers succeed, fail. That way you could learn from the mistakes and the good things you've done while you were getting there.
Would you recommend this program to other GAWDA members the next time that it's offered?
100%. It's a lot of work. There's a lot of information, and it comes at you fast. But in our industry, to be a manager or a department lead or an executive, I would say it's almost a requirement to do this program. There's a lot of great information to keep you motivated, learning, and trying to succeed.
You mentioned earlier that there were a mix of live sessions with the recorded sessions. Could you expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, the gentleman that wrote the books that the course was based off of, they took some live sessions that he had done for some trainings elsewhere and incorporated it in. And then so in the 2 weeks up to the live sessions, most of it was pre-recorded, a lot of reading, a lot of videos, a lot of worksheets, things that would teach you what you needed to know for the sections we were working on.
Is there anything else about the program or the experience that you want to share with viewers before we go today?
The ability to interact with all of the companies of the GAWDA Association that were in with it. You got to learn so much from so many other people about how they do business, things they did. I mean, we learned a lot just in the interactions with everybody on things that we took away that we could use with us that would make us better managers too.
Dustin, thank you so much for being with us today. We really appreciate it. During this year's Spring Management Conference in Philadelphia, we had the opportunity to speak with several GAWDA members right on the floor of the Contact Booth program. One of the people that we got to catch up with was Jim Herring, Vice President of Safety Car and Co-Chair of GAWDA's Safety Committee.
The past year and a half, we've been working on adding more content to our sample safety practices. This time we're adding infographics to each one of them. And what that does is it takes the highlight of the basic safety practice and it puts it into a poster form where you can take it, put it out for your employees to see, and they don't have to read 3 pages of documents. They can look at the infographic, it points them in the right direction, and they're out of there. So we make it simple. We've also made one to point GAWDA members toward the CGA GAWDA partnership there, where they can sign up for that just by giving some information to the CGA. And that's it.
Hobart Institute of Welding Technology is excited to offer a 4-day Welding for the Non-Welder course. This course gives the non-welder a solid background and overview of the welding field, along with some hands-on experience with the major welding processes. It's ideal for purchasing agents, plant managers, manufacturers of welding products, distributor salespeople, supervisors, and more to gain an understanding of welding that will make them more proficient in a job that involves welding-related activities. Check out our website today for more information or give us a call at 937-332-9500. We're lucky enough to be joined next today by Jason Kirby. Jason is a GAWDA board member and is the Vice President and General Manager for Oxarc Inc. Jason, thank you so much for being with us today. Oxarc recently joined the Meritus Gas Partners Federation. Can you tell us about that process and how your role has changed?
When I was tasked by the Nelson Walmsley family to look at selling the company, because the family members, that second generation of 4 kids, they had reached retirement age and they were looking for a way to not only take care of the Oxarc legacy and take care of the Oxarc employees, but also how they could pull their investment out and retire. So, you know, we really sat back and we prioritized again the importance of the Oxarc legacy and our employees, and the only fit that made sense was the Meritus Gas Partners. And we knew right away from the research we had conducted on Meritus and some of the companies that they had partnered with previous, like Volunteer and Atlas and Gas Innovations and Ozark and Tulsa Gas and Gear, all of those companies we went and met with, and we really wanted to find out and make sure that the information we were receiving from Scott Kaltrider and Rob D'Alessandro was accurate. We knew them to be honorable people, but you always trust and verify, right? So we met with, and Mitchell Welding Supply, we met with the owners of those companies who are still managing those companies for Meritus now. And just said, you know, how was the process for you, and has it been forthright and truthful in what they've communicated to you? And overwhelmingly 100%, all of the owners of those companies said everything that Scott and Rob has told us has been truthful, and they have followed up with that. It's so impactful for an organization, because change is hard, and especially change in ownership when you have employees that have worked for a company for 20, 30, 40. My predecessor, Mike Sutley, who had worked at Oxarc for 50 years as the general manager, it was important for us to make sure our employees knew that they were going to continue to be in safe hands. And they were a continued value member of the Oxarc family, now the Meritus Gas Partners family, and that there would be no changes. This was a great solution that allowed us to continue to operate and run independently. There is no leadership team that comes in and takes over the company. They've incentivized us, myself and Jenna Fitzgerald, to stay on and continue to lead and run Oxarc, which has been very important to our employees. It's also very important for me. You know, I'm somewhat young, not that young, but I still have a lot of years ahead of me. And I'm excited about the partnership. Scott and Rob have been great to work with. I can tell you, Scott and Rob, during that entire year process of going through all the financials and all of that, they were nothing but truthful and honest. In fact, maybe a little too honest, because there were, you know, some things that they shared with us in their financial findings that we were not aware of, but they were honest enough to say, hey guys, here's what we're at, and here's what we're seeing, and here's why we've come to the position where we're at. And I appreciated that. You know, I appreciate truthfulness, and no matter, you know, how difficult it may be at times, it's always important to share the truth.
What was it that attracted you to the Meritus model?
Again, the difference is it was developed to create this company of independence that could still operate independently and compete with the majors like Airgas and Messer and Linde, you know, formerly Praxair. It's a way to compete with them and continue to run independently of, you know, the top down that you see at an Airgas or you see at a Matheson or a Linde. You continue to run the business. I continue, and Jenna continue to run Oxark independently. Now, there's a team that helps us look at improvements, process improvements, safety improvements, financial improvements, all of that. But at the end of the day, the decisions are still made by myself and Jenna Fitzgerald. They are not a top-down organization. They want you to continue to run independently.
You mentioned that vast network of partners. How do you leverage the collective strength of that network?
So, you know, I would say one of the greatest strengths of the different Meritus partner companies is the fact that we all have different relationships with different suppliers. Like some are very strong with Messer relationships, some are very strong with Linde relationships, some are very strong with Air Products relationships. The great thing is we're all working together to make those introductions so we can help each other be more successful in providing our customers with those products. So I would say the relationships that all of these companies, including Scott and Rob, who have been in the industry a long time, the relationships they've had. So the fact that we're able to lean on each other when one of us might be struggling with CO2 or helium or something like that, it's been nice to be able to have those introductions and see if they can't help us, you know, fill that gap or void that we're experiencing in molecules or products or cylinders. You know, one of the other things is cylinder utilization. You know, instead of having to spend all that capital on buying new cylinders, we can reach out to all these company partners and say, hey, I'm looking for these cradles, or I'm looking for these cylinders, and do you have excess of them? And if they do, they're like, yep, we're going to ship them to you right now. So, I mean, just that alone is huge, that partnership.
For other distributors who may be considering similar opportunities, what advice do you have?
So the first thing I would say is, if you are considering partnering with a company so that company can, or that family member can retire, absolutely you should sit down with Scott Kaltrider and Rob D'Alessandro. I will tell you they are truthful, honest, and very knowledgeable. They want to take care of your legacy that you've created over those years and your family legacy, as well as take care of your employees. I can personally say that has happened, and every promise they have made has been truthful. I would just say, you know, take the opportunity to sit down and listen to the strategy, because it is great. It was the best solution for us, and if you talk to any owner, former owner, and partner in you know, like Ozark and Atlas and Gas Innovations, they will tell you the same thing I have communicated to you right now. And that has been a great solution, and it allows us to keep working if we want to work, like I said. So if you're not ready to retire but you want to pull some of that capital out that you've invested all those years, it allows you to pull that capital out and continue to work and run that company that you love so much. That's why I would say, you know, give them the opportunity to hear what they have to say.
Jason, we appreciate you being with us today. Thank you so much for your time. In the May 15th episode of GAWDA TV, we interviewed GAWDA board member Colleen Kohler about her work on GAWDA's Member Services Committee. We mentioned that over the next 6 episodes of GAWDA TV that she would be interviewing new members and new attendees at GAWDA national events about their experience with the association. Here to present the first of those interviews is Noble Gas CEO Colleen Kohler.
Hi, I'm Colleen Kohler with GAWDA's Member Services Committee, and I am here with Art Anderson, and we are going to ask him a few questions to see what his engagement has been like so far with GAWDA. So thank you so much, Art. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for the opportunity. Appreciate it.
So could you tell us a little bit about your organization and how long you've been there?
Okay. Yeah, I started A.H. Anderson about 7.5 years ago or so. When I left corporate America, I was with Air Products for about 30 years and then started my own practice focused on the industrial gas industry.
That's so great. So can you tell us a little bit why you got involved with GAWDA, what you were looking forward to joining?
Well, it's interesting. I was doing an article for another magazine on the U.S. distributor market. And so I actually was talking to some CEOs who were independents and putting together the article. They were kind of talking about GAWDA, you know, and so I said, well, do you think it's something that I should probably consider to get involved in? I think you're also one of the people we talked with as well, and you gave it a thumbs up. So this is my first year, and this is my first real event.
That's wonderful. So can you tell us a little bit what are you most looking forward to getting out of your GAWDA membership?
Good question. Because when I first heard about GAWDA, I thought it was really more about independent distributors. And so my main question to people like yourself is, you know, I'm an independent consultant. So, you know, how is that going to work from a membership perspective? But, you know, this industry is very close, very incestuous, like the industrial gas industry, which I came out of. So it's actually a logical extension for me, you know, to kind of stay plugged into the industry. I think being part of GAWDA is one of those things that could help.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for letting us interview you today, and we look forward to getting some further feedback in the future.
Today's member news segment is brought to you by Anthony Welded Products. With carts, cradles, cages, and pallets, Anthony has a model for every purpose. GAWDA held its first regional of 2023 at the beautiful Seven Springs Mountain Resort in Seven Springs, Pennsylvania from June 7th to the 8th. This year's revamped conference was more streamlined to take place in 2 days instead of the traditional 2.5. Attendees were treated to a half-day sales workshop, followed by networking events including bowling, sporting clays, and mountain barbecue and live music on Wednesday. Then on Thursday, we saw a breakfast brief with GAWDA's consultants, followed by the reverse contact booth program. Then, attendees saw business sessions from Greg Doria, Allison Earlbeck, Robin Jusela, and Gary Halter before adjourning for lunch and golf and an evening concluding with a reception and dinner hosted by Economy Welding at the Mountain Club. Thank you to all of those who joined us for this great event. Next up on the regional schedule is the Northwest Regional meeting from July 19th to the 21st in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, and the Central Regional from July 31st to August 1st in Huron, Ohio. Registration for both of these events is open now and can be found by clicking the link in the descriptions below. In other GAWDA member news, Encore Gas and Supply opened its new corporate headquarters and showroom in Long Beach, California. Middlesex Gases announced that it had added new dry ice manufacturing capabilities. National Standard announced that it had promoted Chris Pruitt to product manager. It also welcomed Matt Wassinger as its new district sales manager for industrial wire. GAWDA's Women of Gas and Welding Committee's scholarship application period is open now. The educational grant program will provide financial support to 2 GAWDA female members to attend the University of Innovative Distribution in March 2024. To learn more about the program or to apply, click the link in the description below. Ozark Gas and Equipment announced that it had acquired Eagle Safety Products. Mississippi Welder Supply Company held its grand opening for its Appleton, Wisconsin branch. Maine Oxy announced that it had acquired Metro Welding Supply in Waltham, Massachusetts. ESAB announced that it had acquired Swift Cut Automation. Weldcoa hosted a successful fill plant operation training at its Weldcoa Innovation Center. The event featured more than 25 compressed gas cylinder fill plant topics and performed 8 different science demonstrations. Superior Products announced that it had appointed Scott Eppel as its new product specialist. And finally, Gas and Supply announced that Weldark Gas and Safety had joined the Gas and Supply family. To learn more about any of these member news items or to submit member news of your own, read the full June 15th GAWDA Connection in your email inbox today or by clicking the link in the description below. GAWDA Media is the go-to resource for news and information about the gases and welding industry. Through our wide variety of publication platforms, GAWDA Media keeps our members up to date on all of the most breaking news, emerging trends, and member events in the industry. Want to get your company's message seen? We have a quarterly print publication, a twice-monthly newsletter, an online buyer's guide, and a twice-monthly news show. If it's happening at Gases and Welding, it's happening on GAWDA Media. Want to learn more? Contact your GAWDA Media representative today. And that's our show for this month. Once again, registration for the Northwest and Central Regionals are open now. And stay tuned to GAWDA TV and the GAWDA Connection throughout the summer for news and information about registration for this year's Northeast Regional. And if you haven't already, make sure that you register for this year's annual convention in Maui. It's certainly one that you won't want to miss. On behalf of all of us here at GAWDA TV, this is Steve Guglielmo signing off.